Roxanne should just be a minute or so away.
She's not late yet. Is it 6:29?
Yep, you got it.
Hey.
Right outside.
Were y'all waiting for me? Is that what's going on here? And we're waiting for
6:30.
6:30. Oh, maybe Roxanne will make it.
Yeah, well, cross our fingers.
You knew I was coming, right?
Yeah. Yep. There he is.
I know. She's not late yet.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's starting to spin. Now you're live.
Nobody what? I'm still on time.
All right, I see Commissioner DeShane has made it, so we will call the Committee of the Whole meeting to order. I would like to start with the KDL update. If our friends from KDL would like to step up and let us know what's new at the Walker branch.
Hi, I'm Liz Knapp. I am the co-manager of the Walker branch. Thanks for giving me a few minutes today to give you an update. So September and October were fun and busy months. We had over 7,000 patrons visit, and they checked out almost 12,000 books and other materials. In between helping patrons, we stayed really busy. We've been taking this year a training on equity, diversity, and inclusion so that we can better serve our patrons from all different backgrounds. And in September, we began our second module, which will be done in November. And we are going to continue training all through 2022 because it's something that we're really committed to. On November 11th, we're going to be closed for our staff in service. And on that day, we will be wrapping up our years of training on equity, diversity, and inclusion and doing some strategic planning and goal setting for next year. There will be other libraries in KDL open that day. We're only closing half of our branches on that day, and the other half will be closing on November 2nd. So, programming was even more busy and fun. We were able to return to our full menu of programs for the first time since 2019. So that meant that we had a program every day, Monday through Friday, for 23 programs, and that was attended by over 200 people. And we were super excited to do the Pumpkin Bash again this year. And we wanted to thank Nicole Donato for her role in organizing it. And I see many people here who are also at the event, helping to run the event and just being there. So we appreciated once again the opportunity to participate. So that was all I had for you today. Any questions for me?
All right, any questions from the commission? Right.
What are some of your new programs for next year?
Next year, we are looking into starting tech tutoring again. So really excited to begin doing that because we haven't been able to offer it during the pandemic. We will also be, once again, starting to do adult programs. We'll be working those into the schedule. We're in the planning process right now, so we're really looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, any others?
Yeah, I just want to commend you on doing the DEI training. I think it's fantastic, bringing that lens into our community, how important it is when we're serving everyone in the community. Mm-hmm. We've taken some steps to do that as well here at the city. So I'm just really excited to hear that we're that we're working together on that in some sense.
We sure are,
Yeah.
and looking forward to next year and deepening the training.
Wonderful, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for the update. All right, next we have the waste to energy update. Baas is here to give us a rundown of what's going on, and Dar is the Director of Public Works for Kent County. Dar, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you for inviting me tonight. I hope that this is one of many conversations that we continue to have over the next number of weeks and months. One apology, it was Dar versus a ladder last week, and the ladder won. And I took it right in the face, and I have to really work to enunciate my words, but I'm going to do my best tonight. But again, thank you for the invitation. I have a presentation, and I'm going to really, on the sustainable business park. So I'm going to weave in waste to energy and how that fits into the future of what we're proposing for the business park, and hopefully maybe demystify or take a little bit of the confusion away from some of the important work that we've been doing the last number of years. There's lots of moving parts, so we thought it'd be really good to share that during this work session. A little bit about who we are, and it really boils down to the leadership of our past. Congressman and then Commissioner Vern Ehlers really set our department on a trajectory some 40 years ago as he dealt with the fact that the Board of Public Works and the Board of Commissioners had to site a landfill called South Kent Landfill back in the mid-1980s. And Vern really thought forward in a way that many of us weren't back then, in terms of he saw a time when our community would not be landfilling and would be diverting most of the material away from the landfill. In fact, he saw a time when only 20% would be going to the landfill. And he was really influential in the waste to energy facility. That facility, and we'll speak more about tonight, has been in operation now for 31 years. It was commissioned and started operation in 1990. We have processed over 5 million tons of trash there. We receive, of course, materials from the Metro 6 cities. And there's so many little statistics that we could grab and speak to, but I think one that's always impressive to me, and it's only one highlight. When you think about the 6 cities and what we do day to day and the amount of trash we generate, one of the really neat things that we're able to do is take the ferrous metal, scrap steel, off the back end of that process. In the last 31 years, we've been able to recycle and capture 140,000 tons of scrap steel and bring that back to the market for reuse. And that's just from Kent County, just those 6 cities, including the city of Walker. So we can speak about, electrons and electricity and a lot of the things that we do there, but I think that really highlights what we're trying to do as we think forward about the business park. So what do we do today? Where did DPW come from? The Board of then Supervisors, now Commissioners, back in the 1960s, saw that there was a significant issue around a lack of disposal capacity, because that's all we thought about then, was throwing it away, putting it in, at that time, dumps. Unlined, unmanaged, unlicensed, not permitted dumps. Back in the 60s, there was a study that was conducted, and we found that there were over 30 of these dumps that were sprinkled throughout Kent County. So between the state and local health department and changes in law, it was determined that those facilities needed to close. The Board of Commissioners then enacted and directed the Department of Public Works to come up with alternative disposal. First it was North Kent Landfill, then South Kent Landfill. We've also brought into that our North Kent Transfer Station, our Recycling and Education Center where we process recycling, and we also have the Waste to Energy facility today. So we operate a fleet of 4 facilities, and we manage upwards of about 1 million tons of trash a year generated in Kent County. We've been using this 3-legged stool kind of description now for a couple of years to help the community better understand where we're at today and where we want to be in the future. So our three-legged stool today is we have waste energy, we have our recycling center on Wealthy, and then we have our South Kent landfill and North Kent transfer station. But as we think about that 250 acres of property that we've been buying strategically for the last 20 years, we've determined that the best use of that property in the future is not more landfill space. Because every year we're generating 1 million tons of trash, and it only continues to grow in Kent County. And if it was like a one and done and, hey, it'll be better next year, maybe we would consider more landfill, but it only continues to increase given our population improvements, our economic engine we have here, all the businesses that are operating. So that's why we started thinking very differently. And so our plan for the future is to take the South Kent landfill out of the equation and slide in the sustainable business park. The South Kent landfill was opened in the mid-1980s. There is 7 million tons of trash buried there. It has a little less than 10 years of life left, which is really what triggered, as we think forward, how do we get there from here? Interesting side note, as the waste to energy facility was envisioned, and that entire process of conversation with the community, with elected officials, local, county, and others, it was a 15-year process from we want to do something different to the facility opening on Market Avenue and beginning to process trash. So we're really condensing that and trying to move it forward a little more quickly, given the fact that we're seeing such an increase in the amount of material being landfilled. So just to give you a sense of kind of how did we get here from this discussion about the future. In 2016, there was a waste characterization study done, which really, for the first time, articulated exactly what was being thrown away. I can tell you things like there's $1 million of deposit bottles thrown away every year in Kent County. Half of the trash that's thrown away is organic, meaning it's paper, it's food waste, and it's things where we may be building a landfill that cost $1 million an acre, and we're putting things in it that should be composted or should be used for anaerobic digestion and to capture the value back. There's metal, there's glass. I mentioned that stat about waste energy and 140,000 tons of scrap steel. There's that much and more buried at the landfill. We see it every day. We see all the material that comes in. There's over 1,000 tons of material that comes in a day with hundreds of trucks. And once it's at the landfill and it's buried, you can never get that value back. So we set a goal in 2016 to divert 90% of what we're currently bringing to landfill away. And then we had a roadmap called Reimagine Trash. We knew we wanted to do it, but we didn't know how to get there. So this last 3 years has really been one of learning. So in 2017, we established a Sustainable Business Park Master Plan. And in 2018, our Board of Public Works approved it. And that was really a roadmap and a focus on, okay, we have this property, what can we do with it? And then we started down this path of additional studies. We looked at infrastructure, we looked at business development. We issued an RFP, and we asked companies from around the world, how would you manage waste in the future, and what would you propose? And that's the information that we've been digesting and currently have brought a recommendation to our Board of Public Works. We've had a work session with the Board of Commissioners, and in fact, the PowerPoint that I'm sharing with you today is actually the one that we used with our Board of Commissioners just a few weeks ago. So to give you some sense of the governance around the process, of course, we have our Board of Commissioners. Below that, we have our Board of Public Works. We've had a number of various committees because a lot of this property for the business park is located just south of us in Allegan County. We've got an Allegan County contingent working alongside of us. We had an RFP evaluation committee. We had a municipal solid waste committee where many elected officials from Grand Rapids and Wyoming and Rockford and Gaines Township, Grand Rapids Township, just to try to cross-pollinate and have these conversations and share more of how the system works and what we're trying to achieve. And here's the team. The right place has been critical in this conversation. GBB is our consultant. Plant Moran's been a part of this. Byron Fisk. Fishbeck is our engineer of record. So we've really reached out to make sure that we get the best thinking around this. Ultimately, 9 proposals were received. We narrowed it to 2. We conducted interviews. We did a lot of site tours and financial analysis, and we wanted to make sure that we could verify the technology. So there was trips out east, there was trips to Des Moines, Iowa, there was trips to facilities in California, because we wanted to make sure that if we made a recommendation that the technology was solid and what we were proposing then could be replicated here in West Michigan. We also did a community survey this past summer. We used Epic MRA, I believe, as the company. And what we learned is the vast majority of residents in Kent County really are looking for something different than landfilling. And they're willing to support something different, and they're willing to pay more for it. And we can dive a lot deeper into that at some future point, or we can actually share with you the study itself. We're more than happy to give it to you. But that was kind of the outtake from this, is residents really are looking for something different, and they understand what sustainability means in terms of how it impacts our community. I can speak to this, but actually the right place would be the better ones, because they're a partner here on our business development and our infrastructure development. And they're looking at this from a people, place, and prosperity, and how that business park, how waste to energy, and how our recycling facility fits in the future. And we'll have, I'm sure, another time where the right place can speak deeper to it. But I think it reinforces again around having the right community vibe around sustainability, and so many companies, I can list many of them that you're familiar with. They're not only regional, they're national, international companies. They have sustainability goals, and the people that want to work for them have the same mindset around how best to achieve these goals, and what kind of community and what kind of company do we want to work for. So the goal here of the business park is to support those types of things. This is a mixed waste processing facility. This happens to be in Wasatch, I believe, in Idaho. And you can go to their website and you can watch the video, but what I would suggest is if you've ever been to our recycling center and you've seen that process, we're happy to tour that, walk the floor, spend as much time with it. Mixed waste processing is the same as the recycling plant, except for it's just more robust and it has more throughput. It's more robust because there has to be more equipment to be able to take what we place in our trash and separate it all out. And that's really the first step in recapturing the value that we all decided had no value when we put it in our waste receptacle. So a mixed waste processing facility does that exactly, and I've got a few more. I think I jumped one. So at our September 2 meeting with our Board of Public Works, after vetting with a very robust team and spending a lot of time looking at the technology and the financials, we made the recommendation. It's called CM plus A, or Continuous Materials plus Energia, that they ought to be the company that we consider as a community, inviting them to construct facilities and be our anchor tenant at our sustainable business park. There was a number of reasons why. Some of them are listed there, but I'd like to get into a little bit more detail. We looked at technology, we looked at capacity, we looked at inputs and outputs and residues and all of those things, and the experience that these companies have both nationally and internationally. The minimums that we asked them to be able to meet was the day you open and you're through your commissioning and you're processing material, we need at least 50% to be diverted. And they came back with a proposal that said we can divert at a minimum 60% when we open. We also asked them to be able to process and size the plant, be able to process 400,000 tons a year. And so that was a second consideration. And there's many more there that are described, and it gives you some sense of the number of employees and other things that are part of this. Here's the really interesting piece, and this is something I think is so mission critical. And I add waste to energy back in at this conversation because there's always this conversation about risk. It's very inexpensive short-term to landfill. We can landfill as good as any other company in the country. We've been operating a landfill since the late 1960s actually. But there are so many other things you can do. And so we looked at the outputs of CM plus A, and when you add in waste to energy, there's 5 significant outputs. Waste to energy generates electricity. We generate 100,000 megawatts a year, and that generates, that actually could power every home in Walker. We always use Walker as the example. And generates a little more than $8 million in electrical revenue sales a year. So that's one piece. When you add in the mixed waste processing, and after you've separated it all out and you've got all these raw materials, what do they produce? A number of things. First of all, there's already recycled commodities. We only capture 25% of all the residential recycling that could be recycled. Only 25% gets to us, the rest goes to the trash. And that's after 30 years of education. That's Kent County DPW having operated a processing facility for 30 years. We're in our second generation of facility. We're in our second generation of equipment at that second facility, but we're still only capturing 1 out of 4 basically tons of material that could be captured. So there's 100,000 tons of recyclables available in Kent County from residents. We only receive 25,000 for processing. So there's still this huge gap. So the recycling commodities then, that's one thing that you take out of that waste stream that's not placed in your recycle stream. We can capture that material and sell it. The second thing, and that's around the food waste and organics, is the renewable natural gas. Through anaerobic digestion, and that's where Energia comes in. So that renewable natural gas would actually go into the DTE pipeline, and we're having those conversations with DTE ongoing about not only the need for gas, but our ability to export it once we generate it. But then what do you do with that digestate after it's been processed through the anaerobic digestion is you can create a fertilizer. And there's a company nearby that blends commercial fertilizer for agriculture, and that company is showing a lot of interest in taking this digestate, custom blending it with regular fertilizers, and being able to use that for agriculture use. I think the most interesting piece of all of this is the roof cover board. It's called Everboard. That's actually manufactured on the back end of this processing plant. The roof cover board, and as proposed, Continuous Materials will be able to generate or manufacture 150 million square feet of this material a year. It's a 4x8 sheet. It almost looks like an oriented strand or plywood board. It's used in low slope roof systems. The Heinz factory in Holland has this in one of their more recent remodels. There's a Target store in Nebraska that has it, and. It's a material that's already in the market. It's already being manufactured. It meets ASTM standards, and it's made out of essentially 2 things that are so hard for us to recycle: low value paper or fiber and plastic film. Those are the 2 main ingredients that go in, and they apply heat and pressure, and then they put a cover layer on the bottom and the top side, and they are currently manufacturing this in Iowa, and they're proposing, and they would like to deliver it and begin the manufacture here in West Michigan. So what does it cost? And that's always the question, and it's an important one. What we presented in terms of our findings and our learning over the last couple of years that culminated in our presentation in September to our Board of Public Works is that we've always viewed this as a public-private partnership. We never felt like it ought to be just a public thing. We did not see in the market where it could succeed without public assistance, if you will, or public policy support. But there's a lot of companies that are really interested in moving in this direction. So what we've determined is that if Kent County, and through its DPW and through its Board of Public Works and Commissioners, if we're willing to invest $70 million in this plant, the private sector will invest $280 million. We'll own a portion of it, but we'll own the mixed waste processing piece. They'll own the technology and process the organics through anaerobic digestion, and of course the cover board to this manufacturing plant. Along with that, we have to actually develop the business park and make that a Class A business park. So there's about $19 million in infrastructure requirements to have that facility ready. So you're talking roads, water, sewer, electric, gas, all the things you think of. And I know that Walker is very in tune with a lot of the business parks and a lot of the industrial and commercial development that you're seeing there along the highway. We recently were appropriated through the state legislature $4 million towards that. And we also have plans to make additional applications. So we're hopeful that we can cover most of the infrastructure needs through various grants and matching dollars. Oh, one more thing. What does it mean to the resident? The average household generates about a ton or 2,000 pounds of trash a year. For an additional $3 a month, you can move this away from landfill and you can move it toward mixed waste processing. If Kent County DPW makes a decision in the next couple of years around additional landfill space, there's such a significant liability that comes with that. So if we make a decision to open a new landfill, and let's say it opens in the year 2030, that's not that far away, and then it operates for 30 years, so it's 2060, we have an ongoing liability that takes us at least another 30 years, which is 2090. That is what we no longer want to put on to Kent County residents, is that liability around landfill operations. We already have landfill operations that we took over as dumps back in the 1960s and 70s, and today we carry those on our books as RCRA Superfund sites because we didn't cause the problem, but we inherited the problem, and we're managing the problem today, and we spend multiple millions of dollars a year continuing to clean up those facilities that have been closed since the 1970s. So where does it fit? South Kent Landfill is just is on the right side. You can kind of see where that's currently existing. The CM+A plant is in white there, kind of in the middle, and that's where they're proposing with Fishbeck to locate the plant. There's actually plenty of property for other tertiary and secondary tenants to come in, and the right place is receiving many calls, and there's a number of companies that are interested. But today, that's what we're proposing. And if you can think about 100th Street, South Kent Landfill, most of this property is on the Allegan County side, but there is a portion that's still on the Kent County side, so it borders and crosses between Byron Township and Dorr Township right along the US 131 corridor there. This is a quick picture, and this is what the cover board looks like. They're manufacturing it every day. Again, they're proposing, and here's the other neat statistics. For every 1,000 square feet of this board that's produced, 2,000 pounds of discarded trash is actually diverted away from the landfill. And this is a material that has more than 20 years of lifespan. It's used both in new construction and it's in used re-roofs as well.
Dar, just so you know, you've got about a minute left before
Okay,
the 7 o'clock
Thank
group is
you.
going to
And
roll in.
so, that's the Target store that I mentioned that currently has this product in its roof. And there's just a number of things that we're going to be working on over the next couple of months. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Just like that.
Just like that. I was close. Land the plane. I heard you loud and clear.
Yeah. Do we have any quick questions for Dar here? There's a lot of information to take in, and we really appreciate you coming to offer the update to us. I think this is going to be a lot of moving pieces that we're all going to be considering over the next few weeks, months, whatever period of time. I think it's largely in the county's hands, but I think it's of interest certainly to this board as well. So, does anyone have anything at this point?
Sorry, I know we're out of time, but is there anything that we really need to be thinking about to support up here, sitting up here in these chairs?
Over the next couple of months, we'll be having a conversation with our Board of Commissioners that will also involve local elected officials like you here in Walker and the other communities, both townships and cities. Probably the largest hurdle that we have to get over is we have to have what's called a feedstock agreement. In other words, if this company, if they're going to site here and invest $280 million to do this, they have to know that 400,000 tons is going to come to them. And we know that it will cost more per ton than to go to landfill. So we have to have a very robust conversation around that, what that means for our community and our future, what that means for land use and economic development. The interesting thing about this facility is it's taxable. It'll generate jobs, it's taxable. There's a lot of benefit, and we can spend some time talking about that at another time. But the reality is businesses, the community, the residents, our commissioners, you all have to think through with us and help us make what we think is the best decision long-term for our community. So I would ask for that thoughtful consideration as we continue forward over the next number of months.
All right, Dar, thank you very much
Thank you.
for the presentation. Sorry if others had questions. I'm sure Dar would be happy to follow up with
Happy
anyone
to take
offline.
emails,
Yep,
happy to come back anytime.
perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the update. And now, seeing as it is just past 7 o'clock, I will call the Walker City Commission meeting to order here. And I will be giving the invocation tonight. All right, shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for being here with us today as we gather to do good work on behalf of the people of the city of Walker. We thank you for the ability to share the fall season with our loved ones and for all the joy you give. We ask that tonight you offer us the guidance to do what is best for those who we are here to serve and represent in our community. And Lord, we ask that you protect those who are called to serve and protect us in these trying times, from our emergency responders to our military. And Lord, we thank you for all that you do to allow us to be here and serve our community. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. Now, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay. Now, if the clerk can please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Gilbert,
Present.
Commissioner Burke,
Present.
Commissioner DeShane,
Present.
Commissioner Glanville,
Present.
Commissioner Groders,
Present.
and Commissioner Chase.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, and I'll look for a motion to approve the absence of the mayor this evening.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Motion Commissioner DeShane, support Commissioner Heisinger, or Chase. Clerk, please call the roll, or voice vote, right? Yeah. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agree. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. Does anyone have anything on the October 11th meeting minutes? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner
Support.
Groders, support by Commissioner Chase. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, and now we will open things up for public comment. If there are any members of the public with comments regarding anything on our agenda this evening. Yeah, I think,
Nope, that's gonna be at the end.
yeah, end of the,
We're at the end.
perfect. Yeah, that's right. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to presentations and proclamations. And I believe we have a badge pinning ceremony from the fire department, so Chief, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Thank you for this time to help recognize our firefighters. It's surprising. Just over a year ago, about a year ago from now, they started their journey as a paid-on-call firefighter with us. They did over 246 hours of firefighter 1 and 2. Some actually went on and did another 66 hours of medical first responder to complete that, as well as 10 hours of drive time and countless hours of training at the station, get their station proficiencies done. And tonight we're going to recognize 7 of those firefighters that have completed their proficiencies and their probationary training to become full member firefighters with the city of Walker. Okay, we're going to call them up individually, alphabetically. Brennan Bennett, out of Station 2. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I,
I,
Brendan Bennett,
do solemnly swear
to do my duty
to do my duty
as a firefighter for the Walker Fire Department
as a firefighter for the Walker Fire Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my
to
ability,
serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and fellow firefighters
and fellow firefighters
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the city
to serve the citizens of the city
of Walker with compassion,
of Walker with compassion,
courage, and integrity,
courage, and integrity,
uphold the laws and constitutions
uphold the laws and constitutions
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Michigan,
state of Michigan,
and the city of Walker, so help me God.
and the city of Walker, so help me God.
His wife Ashley will do the pinning. Congratulations, Brendan.
Thank you.
Prenger Cupery from Station 2. As well as being a new firefighter with us, Peter's also a new father of a little girl, Pannell, right?
Yep.
So he's really worked hard these last few months, as well as your wife, Cassidy. So Peter, raise your right hand. I, Peter Cupery, do solemnly swear to do my duty as a firefighter for the Walker Fire Department to the best of my ability to serve my commanding officers and fellow firefighters with dignity and respect, to serve the citizens of the city of Walker with compassion, courage, and integrity, uphold the laws and Constitution of the United States, the state of Michigan, and the city of Walker. Oh, help me God. Congratulations. Cassidy? Wait. Gotta make sure it's the right one. There you go. Congratulations, Peter. Thank you. Olivia Durocher, also from Station 2, is one of those rare finds. She came to us already trained in firefighter 1 and 2. We just had to put her through driver's training. and station proficiencies, drive time. You have been a blessing to our station too. Ready, Olivia? I,
I,
Olivia Durocher,
Olivia Durocher,
do solemnly swear to do my duty
do solemnly swear to do my duty
as a firefighter for the Walker Fire Department,
as a firefighter for the Walker Fire
to
Department,
do my best of my ability
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers,
to serve my commanding officers,
fellow firefighters,
fellow firefighters,
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of Walker,
to serve the citizens of Walker
compassion,
with compassion,
courage, and integrity,
courage, and integrity,
and to uphold the laws
and to uphold the laws
and constitutions of the United States,
and constitutions of
the
the
state
United
of
States,
Michigan,
the state of Michigan,
and the city of Walker.
and the city of Walker.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Your mom, Lisa,
Yeah.
is coming to Pune.
That's good.
Congratulations. Thank you. Kyle Gilley from Station 1. Kyle's one of those, we first looked at hiring a bunch, eight at the time, probationary firefighters. He actually lives in the Station 2's district, but we slid him over to Station 1. Station 1's not going to give him back. Raise your right hand, Kyle. I, Kyle Gilley,
I, Kyle Gilley,
do solemnly swear to do my duty
do solemnly swear to do my duty
as a firefighter
as a firefighter
for the City of Walker Fire Department
for the Walker Fire Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and fellow firefighters
and fellow firefighters
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the City of Walker
to serve the citizens of the city of Walker
with compassion,
with compassion,
courage,
courage,
and integrity,
and integrity,
and to uphold the laws and constitutions
to uphold the laws and constitutions
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Michigan,
the state of Michigan,
and the City of Walker.
and the city of
So
Walker.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We have your daughter Harper.
Yep.
And your girlfriend Morgan.
Yep.
Harper.
I don't know if this is a belt pin or a top shirt.
Motion through.
I guess you can't be a firefighter.
Just a second.
This is seriously tough. Let me get you down.
Next shirt.
Congratulations. Bradley Prenger. Bradley Prenger is another one from Station 2. Raise your right hand. I, Bradley Prenger,
I, Bradley Prenger,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
to
swear
do my duty as a firefighter
to do my duty as a firefighter
for the Walker Fire Department to the best of my ability,
for the Walker Fire Department to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
to serve my commanding officers
and fellow firefighters
and fellow firefighters
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the City of Walker
to serve the citizens of the city of Walker
with compassion,
with compassion,
courage,
courage,
and integrity.
and integrity.
Uphold the laws and constitutions
Uphold the laws and Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
and the city of Walker.
and the City of Walker.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Prenger. Hold on. Hold on. Your girlfriend Alyssa.
Yeah.
Alyssa, come on down.
Not the first time.
If you have to, you can come inside the shirt too now. There you go. We have EMTs on standby.
Perfect. You might need them.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Casey Smith is also out of Station 2. I had the privilege of working with his brother at another fire department, and for the first couple months, I kept calling him by his brother's name. But we hired him anyway because he has shown great skill and ability and compassion. He's a big guy with a kind heart, and he's a welcome addition to the Station 2 family. So Casey, I've never called you that again. It's always been Casey. So let's raise your right hand. I, Casey Smith,
I, Casey Smith,
do solemnly swear to do my duty as a firefighter
do solemnly swear to do my duty as a firefighter
for the Walker Fire Department to the best of my ability,
for the Walker Fire Department to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers and fellow
to
firefighters
serve my commanding officers and fellow firefighters
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the city of Walker
to serve the citizens of the city of Walker
with compassion, courage, and integrity,
with compassion, courage, and integrity,
and to uphold the laws and constitutions
and to uphold the laws and constitutions
of the United States,
of the United States,
state of Michigan,
the state of
and
Michigan,
the city of Walker.
the city of
So
Walker.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Casey.
Thank you, Chief.
And Casey's going to have his fiancee, Lisa. Goodness, he's your difficult. There you go, Lisa. Congratulations, Casey. Zach Stevens is from Station 1. Welcome addition to Station 1. Zach has that character and the aggressiveness that just fits within the Station 1 house, don't you?
Yep.
He's a welcome addition to our fire department. Right here. I, Zach Stevens,
I, Zach Stevens,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to do the best to do my duty
to
as
do
a
my duty
firefighter
as a firefighter
for the Walker Fire Department
for the Walker Fire
to
Department
the best of my ability
to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers
serve my commanding
and
officers
fellow firefighters
and fellow firefighters
with respect and dignity,
with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of the city of Walker
serve the citizens of the city of Walker
with compassion,
with compassion,
courage,
courage,
and integrity,
and integrity,
and to uphold the laws and constitution
and to uphold the laws and Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
state of Michigan,
state of Michigan,
and the city of Walker.
and city of Walker.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you.
Zach's going to begin with Rachel. Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you very much.
Have you all come back up again? Zach, Brendan, Peter, Olivia, Kyle, Bradley, and Casey. Chief Host ran the academy this last year, and this has been probably one of our best classes of a well-organized team throughout Fire Academy. In fact, when they finished Fire Academy, first it was Christian Hennels from the class before that said, hey, Chief, can we do this? We want to go to MFR. Okay, you can go to MFR. Well, then Bradley found out, and then Brendan found out. And well, Chief, we want to go too. Like, no. You guys just did 240 hours. Let's take a breath, get everything done. They drove hard to finish that and complete it. So congratulations to you guys for making that happen. One by one, go around to the backside and meet the commissioners and tell them thank you for supporting the fire department. So thank you, commissioners, for supporting our department and this great group. We're looking at another 8 that are going through the academy right now that is leading. They're led by their example of how to go through the academy with dignity and respect and looking out for one another. Thank you very much for having us tonight. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you, Chief. Gosh, that's got to be the most folks we've run through a ceremony like that in as long as I've been here. Well, we thank you all for your service on behalf of the city and appreciate all you've done and look forward to having you all as a part of the team. With that, I think we're done with our fire department, unless Chief.
I just want to tell the family we do have refreshments back at Station 1. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. Now you're all welcome to hang out, but I wouldn't. Okay. So probably wait a minute while folks get out of here. Well, 7 new PIN firefighters is very good for the city. Very good for the city. Although I didn't hear a lot of Station 3 out there, so. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Station 3 is you and me, Tom. Oh, yeah. All right, so reports from the city manager. We have the second amendment to the T-Mobile lease. Frank, did you have any color on this one?
I will keep this brief. What you folks have done since November of 2020 is allow T-Mobile to use property behind Fire Station 2 in Standale to house a temporary cell tower while they work to relocate a permanent facility that was displaced when consumers came through and changed out all the lattice towers to monopoles. And apparently they're still working out the correct placement and their agreement to make the permanent facility happen. So what they're asking for is a second amendment to the original agreement that would extend the lease period to May 17th of 2022. And then it can be, we can have that end prior to that period. But at this point, they're saying that they should be able to be up and running by May 17th of next year. I will note that I think, for the record, it's probably reasonable to say that barring unusual or emergency conditions, this would be the last extension. Because I think the city has been fairly reasonable to allow that property to be used, and also because of the 911 service that T-Mobile provides with that particular tower. So it really is an important tower there to keep our 911 coverage complete in that part of town. You can choose to say that or not on the record, that's fine. But I just wanted to get that out there, that I think 2 years running on a temporary lease is probably pretty good for them to hopefully be able to co-locate or do what they're going to do with a new facility on a permanent structure. For the record, there have been no problems to date with the on-site equipment. It is located off in an area that really there shouldn't be any problems, provided that the structure is supported properly, and that continues to be the case. And T-Mobile has been paying their $1,200 per month lease, which would extend with the Second Amendment. And I provided you folks with the second, first, and original agreements and the exhibits as well. And we recommend granting the extension. But we would ask to do that by motion. And then if it is approved, we'll follow up with T-Mobile to get the documents executed. It'd be T-Mobile first, because they have to put some kind of electronic stamp on the document first. So there we have it.
Lovely. I mean, we've been monkeying around with this one for a while, I feel like, but I don't see any issue. Does anyone else have any comment here or questions, concerns?
Can I just ask in terms of the quality of the structure out there? I know you mentioned there hasn't been any problems with it, but I just want to I noticed the first agreement was last November. Is that when they actually had, I guess I just want to make sure the structure is sound for winter weather as well.
Yes. I think, you hate to say absolutely, because who knows? But we did have our building inspector look at the plans to make sure that the structure was adequately supported, tied down, and that continues to be the case.
And these facilities are designed to collapse on themselves.
Yeah.
If something were to happen, so I don't know, that's helpful generally.
Yeah, and I think that's the case, and this may also be a telescoping monopole. I can't remember exactly, but it goes up like one of, if you have a Christmas tree that telescopes out, so the diameter gets smaller as it goes taller. I think that's the way that pole is structured. So it's not, and it is tied down into the ground appropriately. The building inspector checked on that. So, and that's why we also have the indemnification in the lease. If it does tip over or somehow, something else happens out there, the city will be released from any liability.
All right, thanks.
All right, seeing no other questions, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Glanville, support from Commissioner Chase. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next up, we have the consent agenda. First up is the approval of the expenditures in the amount of $868,000, $868,522.41. Any comments on the bills? Excellent. And then the Bristol and Pannell engineering recommendation. Daryl, did you have any color you wanted to add on this one?
Just that the commission looked at this on September 13th, and we approved of utilizing Moore and Brugink, and this is just finalizing the contract with them on these larger projects that are pretty significant. We like to enter into a separate contract to make sure it mirrors their proposal and the not-to-exceed figures. So all standards been approved by both attorneys and already signed by Moore and Brugink. So.
Yep, and an important and exciting project for the first ward.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, any questions on this piece? All right, then I will look for a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion, we approve the monthly expenditures and the specific contract for Bristol and Pannell improvements.
Perfect.
I'll support.
All right, motion from Commissioner Burke, support from Commissioner DeShane. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we are off to resolutions. And we have resolution 21-615, electing to comply with Public Act 152 of 2011 by exercising the city's right to exempt itself from requirements of the act for the next succeeding year. Daryl, did you want to add anything on this?
No, just to give you a quick overview, this is something we've looked at for the past several years about this time of year, and this relates to our health insurance for the city employees. And Public Act 152 of 2011 requires, unless we opt out of it, requires employees to pay 20% of their health care costs. We've been very fortunate the last several years to come in either at budget or under budget on our health care renewals. So we are again asking for the city to exempt us from That 20% requirements, our employees pay 15%, and still quite significant. So hopeful to offer that again this year.
Yep, as long as we're getting competitive rates for insurance, it's a win-win.
Yeah, knock on wood, it's been very favorable this year. And as far as health insurance, we're staying with Blue Cross again. So.
Yep, and talent's hard to find these days, so
Yep.
anything we can do for our employees.
Yep.
Anyone have questions on this? Concerns, comments? All right, then I will look for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
All right, motion from Commissioner Chase, support from Commissioner Glanville. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, and now other public comment. Sir, if you'd like to approach the podium, give your name and address for the record.
I will. Can I give you some documents?
Yeah.
Some handouts?
Absolutely.
I got a little nervous when I saw you on page 2 and there were 98 more pages.
Yeah. Yeah. We do our best to avoid scrolling through the entirety of the document.
Being on the East Grand Rapids School Board for 8 years, I've never seen a room clear out like this. My name's Ken Goodson, 1084 Balsam Hill Avenue, Southeast Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Commissioners, Mayor. I'm the past president of the Sons of the American Revolution. All of our members have patriots who fought in the Revolutionary War. There are about 630 members in the state of Michigan, 80 in West Michigan here, and 38,000 worldwide. I'm Vice President General of the International Society and Vice Commander of the Michigan Color Guard. In 1958, our group marked the grave of Patriot Moses Clark, buried in your Brooklawn Cemetery. The DAR did the same in 2015, and the Grand Rapids chapter of the Children of the American Revolution adopted Moses Clark as their chapter's name. We are asking your permission to go one step further and erect a memorial plaque in his honor. Page 1 of the handout lists Moses Clark military record, if you look right in the center there. Just as some data behind his background. Page 2 is a picture of the graveyard. His grave is to the right of the 2 trees that you see in the center, about 40 yards from Walker Road. Page 3 is his headstone. Page 4 shows our state president speaking to about 100 guests at a memorial dedication we did in April at the Stockbridge Township Cemetery south of Lansing. You can see the height of the plaque, it's 10 feet. Cemented securely, the cemetery wanted it placed by the road so that passersby could see it, and his grave is about 40 feet from that plaque, to just give you some dimensions. Page 5 is what it looks like at the top. The inscription of his history is completed on the other side. We would write the same kind of dialogue for Moses. We're a non-political organization, and it's only his history that will be written on the document or on the plaque itself. Its construction is cast iron with gold lettering. The cost is $3,000, and it's funded by our membership. Page 6 and 7 is the program from the Stockbridge Cemetery where the Patriots family members, along with congressional and state representatives, spoke during the 1-hour event, to give you some idea what we do during the cemetery, or during these dedication. Page 8 gives you a view of your graveyard graveyard signage about 20 feet from Walker Road and about 40 yards from Moses Clark. The dimensions are kind of tough when you wind up looking at these pictures because it looks like it's much further back, but it really isn't. If you can approve the plaque, the location would be a good spot right here and would be our recommendation. Our President General is attending our state's annual meeting Friday, April 1st, and with your approval, we would plan the dedication for 4 o'clock that day, April 1st, which is a Friday. The company's backlog is a bit of an issue with respect to getting this work done, and their backlog is 3 to 4 months. So with your approval, which is, you're saying yes to this proposal, which would be step 1, it'd be an opportunity for me to call them and begin the process of getting this set up. We'd work on the language, we'd work on the story behind his history, and give it to them. They price it out, and we get it on order. So, thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Members of the commission, any questions here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble understanding exactly where the plaque is going to be placed. Can you?
It's where you want it to be placed.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we-
okay.
No,
Thank you.
it's where you want it to be placed. Our recommendation would be you have a wooden sign
Yep.
indicating the cemetery there. We'd recommend it to be somewhere in that area.
Sure.
Because as passersby come, they would wind up seeing it, and if they would stop, they'd wind up going into the cemetery.
All right,
Read the sign.
all right, thanks.
Others? For my part, I think this is a nice idea. I think it's a very cool piece of history to kind of
Wonderful.
recognize that, and I certainly think it's worth looking into, seeing what we can do as the city to facilitate that. This probably is a Darrell Frank item, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the commission should make a decision whether yay or nay tonight, and I think we can work with Sarah, because she's got the records on the
Yep.
burials, and with our DPW, and looking for a best location that works for everybody for maintenance and everything else.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But I
It'd be
think
great.
to have you move forward, I think if you give the nod, okay, we'll
Yep.
definitely
Yep.
find a place for it, that's appropriate.
Yeah, and Sarah, you have the
Fantastic.
contact information from Kenneth as well.
Yes, she does. I bugged her, which I shouldn't have on her cell phone, which she immediately nuked me out of. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
I would entertain that, you would certainly be invited to the ceremony. We had many representatives there and would love to have you there when we do this. If we can pull it off by that date, if for some reason it's delayed for any reason from the company's perspective, we do it whenever we could get it.
Right.
And figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, well, I think we would certainly love to be invited to attend as
You will.
much as available, and if does anyone here have any objection to the addition of the sign?
If anyone asks, we're a non-political organization. We are not allowed to go that direction at all. So you never hear that from any of us. So nothing would be on the plaque in any respect in that way. So it'd be totally about his history and his family and that kind of stuff.
Yep, outstanding. All right, then I will look for a motion to move forward with the placement of the sign.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner DeShane, support from Commissioner Burke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, looks like we're moving forward. Thank you so much for bringing that to us.
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Good
Absolutely.
night, Commissioners.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling and
Have a
for
good
coming.
evening. Thanks for hanging out with us for the duration of the meeting.
I said I wish I could clear out a room like this.
Nothing quite like a public meeting. All right, Commissioner and City, yeah, have a good one. Commissioner and City Manager comments. Darrell, do you want to start?
Sure, just one quick comment. The auditors were here today, I think, for the last of their field work for the audit. They were proposing, I believe, to present probably at the December 13th meeting to give an audit review. So Sarah, if you want to maybe make a note of that, probably at the 6:30 meeting. December 13th. Yeah, they still have to finalize the written document and everything, so I don't have any preview. I think we did okay, but they're still crunching all the numbers, so.
Good
That's all.
insight.
Yep, that's it.
Nothing for me tonight.
Several things. First of all, I'd like to thank the city clerk for giving me this Municipal Clerks magazine. It was fascinating, and I learned a lot about the checks and balances of our voting process and how we really have, I think, a broad redundancy in the system. It made me feel pretty good, just reading through it and learning more about how it really works and how we check and balance things, so thanks for that. I appreciate it, I learned a lot. And also, thank you to Commissioner Gruters for updating me on the senior neighbors thing. It seems like that we're moving that ball downfield, which is great. And it sounds like not just in the near term, but even, we can even start thinking about the long term. While we solve the near term, we can start thinking about the long term then, so I appreciate that as well. And then just an update on this morning. Commissioner Chase, the mayor, and the city managers and the clerk and I all sat in on the personnel committee, and we had a long, somewhat painful, probably made most painful by me, discussion on the fire department and some short-term, near-term things they needed, which was not really a big deal, but then their longer-term vision of needs and things, it's really gonna have to be a part of the budget. We're gonna have to take a hard look at what they really have to have, how we can be creative with things, but there were a number of issues in there that they think need to be addressed, and so we're gonna have to go after those here in the next several months. Thank you.
I just want to say that I've really enjoyed when I'm going through Standale, seeing the scarecrows and just the partnership that we're having now with downtown. Seems like it's really, I don't know, I feel like we're being more of an interactive community, so I really enjoy that. And I also have not heard a lot of complaints about Chick-fil-A traffic, which I was a little bit surprised, but I'm glad that that seems to be going well. And again, I just, on behalf of Meadowwoods condominiums, we just really enjoy the fact that our road is open, and it seems that everything is going well. And thank you for removing everything that the leftover debris that were on the side of the road that seemed to be taken care of much quickly, or very quickly after mentioning it. So I greatly appreciate that.
We had a good turnout with the Scarecrow contest in Standale, and I think we had 12 entries, so that was a good turnout. And then a couple weeks ago, I was able to attend the Trevor Slott Memorial in the morning, and it was the 10-year anniversary of it, and it was a great opportunity to continue to hear about the stories that they still have about Trevor and what he did to that department, as well as seeing the impact that they tried to install in their new officers, as well as the impact that Trevor had for them, and that all the new officers know about him too, and the work he did.
I'm just trying to remember what my life has been the last couple of weeks. We had a DDA meeting, right? Yeah, we had a DDA meeting that I attended, and that specifically is addressing or looking to address the street lighting down in Standale, as well as potentially additional landscaping and things that would definitely enhance downtown Standale. So they decided to move ahead to the next step, as I understand it, and come back with some more specifics as far as costs and number of poles and just more detail. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and looking forward to actually having some progress that way for downtown Standale.
I just want to say publicly thank you again to Dar for being here tonight. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to really engage in dialogue with him, so I certainly hope that we have the opportunity to have him back. I think, email questions are great, but it's really nice when we can, talk through some of these things as a group. So hopefully, like I said, we can have him back. And then the other thing I just wanted to bring to people's attention, first of all, I want to say thank you again to the city for the DEI training that we're getting started on. It's so important to be thinking about how we represent everybody in our community and are able to bring access and equity to those that we serve and live amongst. And to that end, I just wanted to bring to your attention that there is some tension at Canoa Hills over this exact subject at the moment. And, our school board has taken a little bit of a beating recently, as many school boards have. So I just hope that we have an eye on that and can offer our support to them. I know they're not like our official school district, but pretty darn close. And many of the students and their families are residents here in Walker. So if we can just kind of keep our eye on that ball. Unfortunately, their meetings, are at the same time as ours. So it's hard to be, that way engaged. But if we can, like I said, just make an effort to get in touch with some of those folks and keep an eye on what's going on there and understand how we might be able to support the work that they're doing. So.
Yes. I just wanted to recommend, if you haven't had a chance to look at the link that Commissioner Glanville sent on the DPW, there's a video in there. It's a little bit dated, but it's incredibly informative and impactful, and I think it's worth going to that website, and I think you have to go through a couple layers or whatever to get to it, but the video, I think, is worth just taking a look at.
Thanks. Yeah, they have a lot of good resources if you click around a little bit that really make it easy for the layperson to understand what's going on there. Yeah, if you're not in it, it's a little, yeah, it's Greek to me. So I've learned the language the last couple of years, so, but thanks.
Just one thing, we have an election 1 week from tomorrow, and on Commissioner Burke's note, if any of you have not experienced or seen our absentee counting board with the new equipment for the last 5 years, it's a slower election. We're going to start at 1 o'clock in the DPW conference room, but I mean, you can't really go in there and stand all day, but it's easily accessible where you could stand there and look in the door to see how the process, and you can't really see that process unless it's election day. It's totally different than going to a precinct, so I would highly recommend you maybe coming through City Hall and just peeking in the door, because it's kind of fascinating. You know, we're not really fans of the system, but it's kind of fascinating how we scan all the ballots through, you know, a scanner, and then they're tabulated, and the whole process. So it's definitely the way we do things is different than with the way we used to do things. So.
Will you guys still be going at 6:30?
6:30 p.m. or a.m.?
PM.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the absentee counting board has to be open and running from the start until 8 p.m.
Okay.
And then from 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. it takes at least an hour to close everything down because of the computer system. So it will be operating from 1 p.m. till 8 p.m. Yep. So stop by. That's all.
Okay. I don't have a ton. Just a question for the managers. Are we going to be having a finance committee meeting in the near-ish future at all? Or I know we had talked about some updates needed, and with the federal money, starting to have that conversation. I don't know if we're waiting till after the audit.
Yeah, we're probably looking at November at some point to have a finance meeting. We're working through some of that at staff. We actually have a meeting tomorrow scheduled with Dan to go over some of that. He's been a little consumed with the audit the last 3-4 weeks.
I could imagine
and
that.
tax collection, so we gave him a little break, and he took
Yep.
a little vacation.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to be hitting that stuff in the next couple of weeks, and then once we get a good plan, we'll pull the finance meeting together.
Super.
And we'll be rolling into budget season anyway. So
Yeah, right,
It'll be a good precursor. I also want to have Scott and Travis in here. I know you had requested a few meetings ago about the sidewalk master plan list, so I've asked them. I'm not sure which meeting, but probably be one of the November meetings also to have them present that to you and have some discussion on ranking some of those priorities.
Awesome. All right.
With that said, November 13th, prior to the commission is ordinance meeting, and then November 22nd, prior to that, is our next personnel meeting. So then we'll have to fit in a finance. And then when you just mentioned engineering, do you think in November we'll bring back our third Monday, our work session?
Yeah, I'm thinking that, but I also think that's deer hunting opener. So I was going to have Scott at that meeting, and he will be
he's not
gone
going to do
day.
that.
Not that I want to work around deer season, but
He won't be here, yeah.
yeah, he will not be.
So
here,
you think we won't have one then in November?
I mean, we can do it another topic perhaps, and maybe that will be could be a finance discussion at that. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll talk about that, but
Okay.
we have some time.
A week, okay.
Look forward to you guys figuring that out. State supplemental, they're starting to take requests, things like that. So just for management's thinking, if the more detail, the more things we can have ready on some of those requests that I know that we have for some of those bigger dollar projects, the better. I know that in our office, for my day job, we had submitted like engineering drawings and stuff like that, and that project got funded like that. So just the more detail we can provide, the better. Always just something to keep on the fore. I know that we're tentatively like on the radar screen, but just, you know, anytime you can provide more information that puts us, it jumps you up the list. I know that from experience. On Dar, I do want to see him back. And it sounds like there are going to be more steps in the process where we will have to be certainly more engaged. So, but I will look forward to that conversation as well. I felt bad cutting him short, but it was, I didn't want to make him sit through the ceremonies and yeah. And I think that's it. Went to Chick-fil-A. That was fun. Nice long wait. No, I think that's it for me. So unless anyone has anything else.
How long did it take for you to get through?
It was like 20 minutes.
Was it?
Yeah, maybe just a little over. It was like backed up past the, out of their lot onto that private road. It was like 10:30. It was like
really?
10:30 on Saturday morning. Yeah, so those guys are going gangbusters. Yeah.
Really? Okay, I've been there
Yep.
once.
Well,
It was
they
only
push
10
people through
minutes,
there.
but-
It's assembly line at Chick-fil-A. They know what they're doing to get people
Yeah.
through. They got the model.
I
Yeah.
think it's hit and miss, you know, depending on where you go.
All right. That's right. That's right. Gonna be great. Gonna be great. Okay. Seeing nothing else, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion from Commissioner DeShane, support from Commissioner Glanville. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.